Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, everyone. This is me, Jonathan Alexander, and I'm here to host our show, Life, Laughter, Happiness. Today, I have my co-host, Barbara, with me. Are you there, Barbara?
Yes, I am. Hi, Johnny. How are you tonight?
Oh, fine. And today, we decided to talk about something about the UFO controversy. What's interesting about it is there's a lot of stuff in the news now about UFOs being in the in the sea and the ocean and everything. And I want to say something, then you can chime in. I think the thing that I've noticed is that scientists will say that they don't believe there's anything out there, but then they act like they do. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, in 1972, they sent a record player up into space, and it had all this stuff on it. And it's like, well, if you don't think there's anything there, sitting up the record player seems kind of strange. You know?
Well, I don't know why the government is hiding this from the public, except for, do they think they're trying to protect us and not scare us? I don't think so. I think it has to do with their involvement. I think they know more than they're letting on. For one thing, It's not, hey, do you think this is real? That is out the door now because there is so much evidence and witnesses, many hundreds, towns, and this has been going on for years. Well, there is a Netflix special on, I haven't watched, it's a series. I've watched the first two, and then I had a friend visiting from Nebraska, and I asked him, hey, you're a cattle rancher. Have you ever had one of your cows mutilated in this way that it's crazy with no blood and just like surgical with precision things removed? And he said, yes. Johnny, he said yes.
Yeah.
And he's my friend. He's not going to just join some kind of odd bandwagon and say yes for no reason. So it is happening. It's not like they have to prove it anymore. We're wondering, why is the government not just letting us know? And my question to you, Johnny, is, do you think that now with this new administration where they're showing transparency, they want to show, how much the government is wasting with their treasury, and they're going to give us, the American people, all that information now. Well, do you think they're going to give us this information now?
Well, I don't understand the point of covering it up. I mean, it's like, what I'm trying to say is conspiracies are kind of work like this. The way that most conspiracies work is they say, well, a person will say, there's hidden files on JFK, but we know who killed JFK. We know what happened. We know who killed JFK. We know what happened to Lee Harvey Oswald. We know it was him. We know where he did it and everything. But there's secret files. It doesn't make any sense. That's why the aliens doesn't make any sense, because with the aliens, you have all this stuff that's being hidden, and it doesn't make any sense. Is why.
What stuff? And how do you know it's hidden? And what are you referring to? What stuff?
Well,
and if it's hidden, how do you know about it?
They'll say that there's something that's hidden, but it doesn't make any sense to have it hidden if we suppose we know the full story. Does that make sense?
That's why I think they're hiding some kind of involvement, because we're pretty advanced too. It seems like these UFOs are really ahead of us. I just find it interesting. Let's just talk about a couple of things that they think may be truth, which is that they are nice. They don't want to hurt us. Some people have been abducted, brought up. They describe it, and from all around the country, and it's always the same description of inside, even to a smell, and then it's like we're their experiments. They have to experiment sometimes, and it's strange how certain areas have so many spottings, and then they're saying that, look around the terrain, it usually has water. Catalina Island, right? I can see it from here where I live. It's a body of water around some land. It seems like that is what they like because they can just go up and down really quickly. It's not on the mainland. It's really interesting. So I thought just watching this and then Donald Trump trying to be transparent and tell the American people everything. Well, maybe we will learn, and I'm excited. I would like to know the secrets.
Barbara, we do have a caller. Do you want to take a call?
I didn't know we were taking calls, but yes, if it has to do with UFOs.
Sorry. I did. Area code 706, you're live on the air. Oh, wow, this person hung up. Okay.
Oh. Well, maybe they thought it was a different subject but hey, if you are an expert out there and are listening, sure, why not take the call? Maybe they'll call back. If it has to do with this, but it is really strange what is happening and for many years has happened to these cows. And why the cow? One horse only, but all the rest are cows. And they like to take out a cheek. They take out all of the reproductive organs, and there's no blood. So they're thinking, how could that happen? It would be a cow has so much blood inside of it. I mean, they know what it takes when you cut a cow. I mean, they're slaughtering them all the time. They know how much blood would be there with what they're finding. And not only that, some of the cows are put back, just sit up. They're sitting up straight, completely in rigor mortis. That is not human. That's not natural. So, I mean, this is happening. This has happened. Do you deny that this is happening, Johnny?
No, I mean, I don't deny that it's happening. I mean, it does seem kind of strange. I mean, to sit there and say, well, if you don't, obviously people believe it's real, or not, in order to want to go look for it. If you don't,
well, how could they not believe it's real? Okay, if you find a dead body and you go tell somebody, do you think that person would say, are you sure? I don't think it's real. It's probably just a made-up dead body. I mean, it's real.
Right. But I will tell you something else that's interesting. Sorry, go on.
No, I was done. I mean, it's just crazy. It's like that's what they're saying, though. We don't have to prove it to anybody anymore. That's not the point anymore. The point is there is secrets that need to be uncovered, and the government needs to tell the American people what's going on. I think we have a right to know.
Well, this is something else. Okay, we have the best military in the world. Okay. And the best military technology in the world, no other country, I mean, other countries can there's some pretty tough countries out there, but as far as military technology, we leave everybody behind. So when somebody says we weren't able to identify it with our technology, it'd be one thing if it was some country in Africa or something, or in Europe or someplace that could identify it, that'd be one thing. But to have our country not be able to do it, that seems a little strange. Don't you think?
Yes, and do you know anything? Didn't have a chance, but I wanted to see if Elon Musk has talked about this subject. You would think so. He's really into space and the outer limits. So, do you know?
Yeah.
I wonder what his thoughts on it are.
It wouldn't surprise me if he did have an opinion on it. I mean, he does sound like the type of guy that would be into it.
Yeah. Maybe he has the technology to really start investigating without the government. How about that?
Well, that is true. He certainly knows about how to make rockets. I mean,
Yes. So that will be exciting. This is a new documentary out right now. It's really well done. I've enjoyed it. And we'll see if it makes other people start to put pressure on the government to give us these answers. They say that these people could be related to us. And they showed some kind of evolution to where the brain over time gets really, really big because it grows, it gets smarter and bigger. This is just one of those conspiracies, really. And then that's why they have these big heads, these aliens. Everybody draws them the same. And that but they regressed and their heads got smaller. And that's us. And for some reason, they stayed with big heads. And that they also they live right here on the earth with us, down below. And they're finding really interesting cells, like living cells, deep down, very cold into the ground. So have you ever seen those, like they're ice caves? They're really beautiful down under the ground. They're testing those right now, and they're finding like life cells in there.
Oh, wow, really?
Yes, microorganisms, yes. So it's like the earth makes its own living creatures, obviously. It started somewhere. Maybe we're a part of the alien species, too, in some way. But, time is, years and years go by. Thousands of years go by before you see change. But look at all of those writings on the walls, those ancient walls. They have found many times. They've found same kind of drawing of the same big head alien. Same flying saucer thing. Yes. And they have proven this is a very authentic rock from somebody back then doing that. Like the Egyptians did it, and they were drawing flying saucers. So it's been around a long time, and I'm so shocked that the government has been able to keep things private for so long. But they do have some retired people in the Air Force that were working on it, and they were always afraid to come out and say anything because they had put their time in.
Did you ever
were
talk
worried.
to Buzz
Hold on,
Aldrin
I'm not
about
finished.
that?
Not finished.
Sorry.
Not finished. They are worried about losing their pension. That's why they didn't say anything, and that makes sense. Okay, so go ahead with your thoughts.
Did you ever talk to Buzz Aldrin about this?
Yes. Did you know I did? About this certain thing?
Well, no, I knew you were friends with him, and I knew that you had hung out with him before. So I figured aliens might have come up.
We were on this celebrity cruise for David Foster in Alaska, and it was this small little boat to get to our little destination, and personally asked him about his flight to the moon, and everybody gathered around, and it was about an hour ride, and we got to sit there and listen to Buzz Aldrin from his own mouth personally tell us exactly the whole experience from start to finish. And it was just, wow, this is amazing. It was pretty cool, but no, I did not. It didn't cross my mind then to talk about the flying saucers, but I could. Oh, he's so cool. I saw him on TMZ in Beverly Hills once, and somebody yelled out at him, "The moon landing was fake," and he said something back so funny I can't even remember, but you guys could find it on there. Just search him up, and he had some funniest comeback to it. He's really cool.
That. Yeah, I know what he said.
Yeah, do you remember?
I know.
Yeah.
What
did he say?
They asked him to swear on a Bible, and he said that's probably a fake Bible.
That's a great comeback. That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's funny you saw that too. Okay, I totally forgot. I haven't even ran into him for a long time. I would see him at events a lot. Okay, so Johnny, do you think about anything else going on with the flying saucers? Anything new? I mean, the water thing, that's new, right?
I think what I don't understand is there's really no reason to cover things up. I'll tell you why. This is a point that I'd like to make. Usually when people explain why they're covering up, they'll usually say, well, we're covering up the exercise because we don't want other governments to find out what was going on and because it would be dangerous. Okay, but here's my problem with that. Let's say that there was this alien sighting back in the year 1960, okay? And so the thing is that this is what I don't understand. Why would it be a big deal to keep secret whatever they were doing? Because whatever we knew in the year 1960, other governments have probably figured out long before the year 2024. You see, so how big a secret could it really be? You understand what I'm saying? I mean, whatever we would be doing, what?
It must have some corruption involved there. Must be some wrongdoing.
How big a deal could it be to keep it secret? How big a deal would be to keep something secret? Whatever they're doing, I mean, other countries have figured it out. So to say it's some
I want to know, I can't remember from the documentary, were there other interviews from around the world, sightings of aliens, or just America? Was it just talking to Americans?
I don't know. I have heard of UFO sightings in Russia before.
Well, there must be everywhere. Why would they just only choose our continent area? Of course, there must be. I just couldn't remember if there was the interviews of other people in other countries. I'll have to watch it again, but I highly recommend it. Did you watch it a little bit when I sent you the link?
No, but I did see the trailer. And I had read about some of the things that were in that trailer before, and I'd heard about it. I mean, they tend to, it's always, the idea of a cover-up really doesn't make sense because, even if it's a military exercise, it doesn't make any sense because by the time that they do these exercises 30 years later, all the countries would have figured out what was going on there anyway if it was a military exercise. So I think that, it's like, the problem with the UFO, this is how it looks to me when people say that they're covering up things about UFOs. It would be like if I told you, here's this great murder mystery novel. And before I give you the novel, I tell you who did it, how the person did it, what was their motive, who were the suspects, where did the murderer come from? What was, and then I told you all this. By the time I hand you the book, you're going to be like, well, why should I read the book? And then let's say I told you that there was 50 pages torn out, but I told you everything. Then you would be like, well, why would I want to read the 50 pages? You understand what I'm saying?
No, I don't understand. Are the government's trying to keep us in suspense for some reason?
Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is Barbara,
they don't want to ruin our surprise.
If we know everything, then why keep secrets? You see?
Well, who says that they are? Maybe they don't know, or maybe it's laziness when the pilot says, "Look, we can't figure out what this is," and the air traffic controller is in on it, saying, "Oh, that was just a balloon or something," brushing it off because they don't know and they don't know how to figure it out, so they don't go anywhere with it. Or what? Like, I agree with you, Johnny. What could be so secret? What could be something that the American people can't handle? We can handle a lot of things. We can handle it, okay? Just give it to us. That's all we're asking. Just give it to us.
Yeah. I don't get the idea of keeping things a secret. I really don't.
No, and it affects people's lives. The people who have been abducted and had something placed up inside of their nose, those people, and there was this guy that had something like in his leg after he was abducted. They took it out, but he always had problems with that leg and just a lot of issues. And they just can't even figure out the device itself, that they can't figure it out. So I guess they're just always coming to a dead end. But these poor people, because it really affects their life, because some of them are afraid to even look up into the sky. And there were the ladies. I am so sorry, everybody. There was a lot of interviews in other parts of the country. I remember now, this lady, many ladies in this village, I think it was an African village, they looked up and there was this bright light, and all of a sudden this white beam of light burned to their chest. One lady had 2 of the burns, chest and a leg, and the other lady just had one right in the chest. It's kind of like they don't know their own strength sometimes, but see, if they're killing the cow and they're not killing the people, they know the difference. So their intellect is high in that regard, but I feel like maybe they didn't mean to burn them with the laser. They were just merely trying to say, "Who are you? What's that?" Or
right.
shining their kind of light on them to look at them. That's dangerous. Most people do run when they see a flying saucer. I can imagine it might be really overwhelmingly scary. So not a lot of people just stare up at it. And I'm thinking twice about, if I see one, maybe I will run, because I don't want a brown laser scar on my chest, because it still is there on these ladies. Still see a faint scar after 20 years. And this whole village is seeing these UFOs in the sky. All of them. Are they all making it up? No. You know what bothers me is that finally people they have enough evidence to say, okay, that is real. But for years, nobody would believe these people, and they just said, you're nuts, you're weird. I'm sure that they used to probably burn people at the stake for saying something like this, because it was going on back then, too. And that's probably why a lot of the people were pointing fingers saying, you're a witch. They thought it was witchcraft, this stuff they were talking about.
I know.
So we really haven't come that far. Just lately, we've come further with people all agreeing, yes, it's out there. We're not alone. We'd like to hear your thoughts, everybody. So why don't you get on to Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and follow Life, Laughter, Happiness, and tell us what you think. I find it very interesting. All right, Johnny.
All right.
Well, we're not quite done. Do you have some more? Do you have any more stories on the subject?
Well, I mean, I have talked to people who have seen aliens, and you know, there's also people who are starseeds. You know,
what's that?
And that's somebody who says that they were born with alien DNA.
Like I was talking about.
We've had some of these people on the show before. Not sure if you knew, but
no.
Yes, Hope Holland was one. She is a starseed. But you know, I have friends with a lot of people who are starseeds. And
well, how do they know that? It shows up in their DNA test?
No, I think that it's one of those personal coming out explanations. I guess it's different. You'd have to ask them. Every starseed is different, but you know, they believe that they are, and so there are certain physical traits that make you think you're a starseed. You know,
and you Remember one? What they said?
Well, let's see. Some of them will tell you where they're like various races, and so they'll tell you that they're star seed, then they'll tell you what race they are, And
I do remember that. I just didn't realize that they were actually talking about being related to aliens. I'm not gonna say, "Oh, I don't believe them." I would like to know more, but I see what you're saying now. It's more of it's a spiritual feeling. They're feeling okay. And some people they'll find a place to fit in, And hey, if that makes them feel better, great. But I just want to know about the real facts that we can see, touch with our hands. The dead cow, the thing that was pulled out of the guy's leg. This stuff interests me, but I do not want to be chosen to go up and be examined in a spaceship. I don't. That would be so scary. And I'm wondering, what are they giving the people? I'm going to go watch it after the show because now I have so many more questions. Like, what kind of drug? Did they find a drug in the person? There was no pain during the procedure, but they don't remember it and they feel groggy. So I'm wondering if they had any traces in their blood of whatever drug the aliens gave them. I'd like to know that.
Yeah.
Are you going to go watch it?
I'll see if I can watch it. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Thanks for being here, everybody, and thanks for listening. And we will see everybody. Is this correct? We are on with callers for Friday with Psychic Dale Shear.
Yes.
Is this okay? Getting close to the holidays, so get back to preparing, everyone. Have a great night. Thank you, Johnny.
Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.